In his fifth presidential address on the coronavirus, President Uhuru Kenyatta, in accordance to the advice of the National Emergency Response Committee on the coronavirus and the National Security Council, sanctioned further measures aimed at mitigating the effects of the pandemic in the country. The cessation of movement into and out of Nairobi metropolitan area and the counties of Kilifi, Kwale, and Mombasa was extended for a further containment period of 21 days. Also extended is the nationwide dawn to dusk curfew that is currently in force for a further 21 days.
Cessation of movement into and out of the Nairobi metropolitan area and the counties of Kilifi, Kwale, and Mombasa that are currently in force shall be extended for a further containment period of 21 days. That the nationwide dusk to dawn curfew that is currently in force shall also be extended for a further period of 21 days.
In dealing with cross-border infection, the Security Service has upgraded their alert and response measures as well. In the last few weeks, the counties of Mandera, Kilifi, Kwale, and Mombasa have registered an increase in the cases of infections. The President alluded to the fact that if this trend does not reverse, then more stringent measures will be taken in consultations with the county governments.
I will continue to use the best scientific and medical advice to calibrate our response as a nation, and we shall escalate, or for that matter, de-escalate, on the basis of how vulnerable we are.
Mass testing, which is at the apex of the response measures of containing the spread of the pandemic, is greatly constrained due to constrained global supplies of testing equipment. The coronavirus pandemic has also compounded the economic and livelihood distress that many Kenyans are going through. Many people, especially those who live in informal settlements, are the most vulnerable to the economic shocks. The government is rolling out relief initiatives targeted at the youth and the families in distress.
I am indeed profoundly conscious of the economic and livelihood distress many Kenyans are feeling at this particular moment. And this is why we are going to continue to roll out initiatives that offer relief, particularly to our youth and our families in distress.
Other initiatives, such as the National Hygiene Program, which commenced this Wednesday, will create jobs while making our environment healthier. The first phase for the next 30 days will employ 26,148 workers and eventually grow to cover 100,000 youths.
This added to the already existing 108,000 vulnerable households that are presently receiving direct cash grants, and the 8 billion Kenya shillings that our senior citizen program and vulnerable families are getting, which I believe will continue to offer tangible relief to the most needy in our society.
The inaugural cluster of employment involves residents in 23 informal settlements spread across 7 counties.
To demonstrate the principles of this approach, the making of face masks will be undertaken by 4,048 tailors residing in these settlements, and for their neighborhoods, they will make up to 250,000 masks per day. This intervention, I believe, stimulates the local economy while advancing the war against coronavirus. We have also decided to move in phases to ensure that those being employed work under proper health standards and protocols that will help us limit the rate of infection.
Coupled with the National Hygiene Program, President Uhuru Kenyatta also indicated that the government will also roll out the post-coronavirus economic recovery plan that targets micro, small and medium enterprises across the country to manufacture basic medical equipment and supplies for domestic use and export.
And my administration shall in particular activate micro, small and medium enterprises across our country to manufacture basic medical equipment and supplies for domestic use and for export.
This initiative, which is nested under the Universal Health Coverage Agenda, will utilize 1.5 billion shillings. The Juakali sector is poised to take the center stage in production, while leveraging technical education training centers and the constituency industrial development centers.
And to this end, I do direct our Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Industry and Trade to expedite the rollout of this initiative across the country, and I do encourage our governors, to whom health is one of their key roles, to please help us and support us in supporting these young men and women working in our SMEs.
The President thanked the National Assembly for seeing the merit to approve the tax measures that the government had proposed.
I would also like to express my heartfelt thanks to our National Assembly for rising to the challenge and seeing the merit to approve the tax measures that my administration had prepared. And I want to thank our legislators, and we will now ensure that employees have more of their earnings available for them to spend, and that also that we reduce the corporate tax burden as an incentive to business enterprises, and I expect these measures to complement all the other measures that the government has and is taking to minimize the negative impact of the coronavirus on the economy and on the welfare of ordinary mwananchi.
The governors of Mombasa, Kwale and Kilifi, whose counties have been affected by the COVID-19 infections, emphasized on the need for Kenyans to support the government initiatives by being disciplined, patriotic and empathetic.
My message to all of us today, there is that much your government can do, and your government is doing. Lakini the fact of the matter is that if you looked at practices around the world, is that 90% of the responsibility lies with you. You can avoid going to the hospital. You can avoid being put in a ventilator. You can avoid many things if only you adhere to the regulations and the rules that are provided for by the government. Our observation, ambayo tumeona kule kwetu, Your Excellency, and that is why we have come to share with you. They may need a decision kuongeza vikwazo. And the sufferer of the vikwazo ni mwananchi. But then again, the solution...
Vita hivi havihitaji risasi, wala bunduki, wala guruneti, wala kifaru. Vita hivi tutaweza kushinda tukiwa na nidhamu, tukiwa wazalendo, na tufuate yale masharti yote ambayo yameweza kuwekwa na serikali. Tuyaunge mkono kanuni zote ili tuweze kujikinga na virusi hivi, tuweze kuwa salama, familia ziwe salama, nchi iwe salama, uchumi urudi kama vile ulivyokuwa.
Tuna kanuni nyingi ambazo bila shaka sote tukizifuatilia kikamilifu tutajikinga dhidi ya uambukizaji wa virusi. Kwa hivyo ni muhimu kwamba wananchi wote wawe na nidhamu ya kibinafsi. Chambelecho cha Waswahili wanasema kwamba unaweza kusukuma ng'ombe mpaka ifike kwa mto, lakini kunywa maji mtoni ng'ombe ni hiari yake. Tutaweka masharti makali, tutawapatia vitu vya kuwasaidia, lakini baada ya kwisha ni vile nidhamu zetu zenyewe na kutekeleza sisi wenyewe masharti haya ndiyo itatuokoa. Kwa hivyo ni muhimu kwamba Wakenya wote kwa sasa tujitokee, tuwe maaskari katika mstari wa mbele wa kupambana na virusi hivi vya korona.
Ombi langu, vile nimewaomba tena na tena, ni ya kwamba ni jitihada zetu za kibinafsi haswa ambazo zitatusaidia kupambana na huu ugonjwa. Tuataka uchumi wetu uanze kufanya kazi tena, lakini wale wachache ambao wametoa, for example, wametoa ugonjwa huu hapa Nairobi, wamepeleka mpaka Mandera. Mandera sasa tumefunga. Kwa nini? Sio kwa sababu ugonjwa ulitoka Mandera. Ugonjwa umetoka hapa Nairobi kulingana na wale ambao walikosa kutii ile amri ambaye tulikuwa tumeweka.
The key for us to return to normal life is keeping our infection rates falling and raising our testing rates. The emergency response team has also mapped out the economic sector and activities on the basis of infection risk. This mapping exercise, when combined with increased testing and more exact contact tracing, will inform how government will reopen the economy progressively. One immediate step that the government has taken is to allow a few restaurants and eateries that show the highest level of health regulation compliance and have the ability to arrange employee testing to undertake minimal operations while maintaining measures that mitigate against the spread of the coronavirus. Alongside these measures, the President reiterated that the most effective way to limit the spread of the virus is through basic changes in individual behavior and hygiene.
Hakuna kitu ambayo itatusaidia zaidi isipokuwa kuvaa maski kama hii, kuosha mikono, kuweka social distancing, ukikohoa ujifunge mapua. Mambo hayo serikali haiwezi kulazimisha. Ni wewe kama binadamu, ni wewe kama mwananchi ambaye waweza kutusaidia sisi wote wananchi milioni 40, sasa karibu na 6 na 7.
These measures will slow the spread and ease the effects of COVID-19 on our nation and allow our healthcare systems and our first responders to most effectively deal with the pandemic.